You know, when things go terribly wrong and a crime scene cleanup is needed, the mafia calls in the cleaner, the one who disposes of the body after the hit or covers up the evidence after the crime. Now, in the movie Pulp Fiction, the cleaner brought in to dispose of the corpse is Harvey Keitel. When covert missions go wrong, the government calls in its own cleaner. And when things go terribly wrong for the Democrats, they don't just call in a cleaner to get the job done. They call in someone who's been in the cleanup business for a long time. They call in the serial cleaner, former FBI director and now special counsel Bob Mueller. Now, the latest details this week of a continuing cover-up by the Trump-hating deep state, as if we needed further proof that Donald Trump was being framed, was evidence that Bruce Orr, the fourth highest-ranking DOJ official, back-channeled forbidden information to the Department of Justice. So after Christopher Steele is terminated by the FBI, or ignores his own rules of his department, and he meets with Steele to peddle his fraudulent dossier to justice. The intent? Clearly, to tee up a special counsel investigation. And the amazing thing is that Bruce Orr had absolutely nothing to do with Trump-Russia collusion investigation. Yet after Donald Trump gets elected, he inserts himself into Trump-Russia to get Steele in on the Mueller team. Bob, aren't you embarrassed by this whole fiasco around you? You actually have a 70-year-old man, Paul Manafort, put in solitary confinement 23 hours a day on a 2007 tax case having nothing to do with Donald Trump or Russia collusion because you're trying to get him to rat on the President of the United States. And you're panicking now, Bob, because Donald Trump's legal team doesn't want him to talk to your team of Trump haters. I mean, come on. Everybody on your team hates the president. But what I don't get, Bob, is how you can sit there under this sanctimonious veil as if you're a holier-than-thou and not be investigating the real crime that keeps jumping out at you and us every week. Why aren't you investigating James Comey, who lied before Congress, or Peter Strzok, who teed up a fake Russia collusion investigation, or Andrew McCabe, and now Bruce Orr and his wife Nellie? His wife had a job with Fusion GPS, the group that Hillary Clinton funneled her money to get to Christopher Steele to create that fake dossier to make believe Russia had dirt on Donald Trump in the form of a sex tape. So here we have Bruce Orr, who's not just violating the law, he's not even disclosing his wife is working for the agency, paying for the dossier. Bob, are you stupid? But your credentials as a government serial cleaner are really good. They're etched in the record. You testified after 4 Americans are killed in Benghazi to cover for Hillary Clinton's incompetence. Bob, why would you say the FBI couldn't get to Benghazi in time? It took 2 or 3 weeks. They needed someone who would say the FBI couldn't get to Benghazi since it was way too dangerous. Bob, honestly, you look and sound like a fool. CNN and just about every newspaper in the country, in the world, got there. They made it there, but the FBI couldn't. Hey, I get it. A good cleaner, Bob, wants the crime scene as trampled as possible. But you know, Bob, we're all getting tired of this. And this all comes down to your effort to get Donald Trump indicted, and you are panicking. You got nothing. And talk of subpoenaing him is ridiculous. And Bob, you should know better, just between the two of us. When you were subpoenaed in the Whitey Bulger disaster in Boston, and your Justice Department argued that you were just too busy fighting terrorism to talk about 1980s Boston. You fought that subpoena, and ironically, you argued that the attorney that was looking to subpoena you, just like you're looking to subpoena Donald Trump, didn't demonstrate why information from you couldn't be gotten by other means. And now ain't that a hoot, Bob? When you were the head of the FBI, it had just over 28,000 employees back then. And you claim you were too busy to testify? Well, how about this? Donald Trump is too busy fighting terrorism for over 320 million Americans and protecting us, and he doesn't have time for you and your nonsense subpoena either. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. And that's my open. If you like my opens, you'll love my new book, New York Times #1 bestseller, Liars, Leakers, and Liberals. It's all in there. If you're fascinated by any of this, the case against the anti-Trump conspiracy.